Hello everyone, I'm Mara Benitez, Library Assistant at the Seguin Public Library. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to paint a Fairytale Castle Landscape. If you're here as part of our 2020 summer reading program, Imagine Your Story, then welcome. You should have everything you need for this painting in the packet that you picked up at our library. If you're a visitor jumping in with us, you will need a pencil, a plate, a paintbrush, at least 4 small craft sponges, and paint in black, white, purple, pink, yellow, and blue. For this example, we will be painting on a piece of canvas board, but depending on the paint that you use, you can make this painting on a piece of paper, cardboard, or just about any other fun surface available for painting. I find it helpful to lay my paints out on my plate based off of how I will be mixing them. I'll place the purple on one side of the plate and the yellow on the opposite end, since they won't be mixing, then the black and blue to one side of the purple, since they will be mixing with it, and the pink on the other side of the purple and the white next to the yellow. Before we get started, dampen your sponges to help the paint go over the canvas more smoothly. Completely soak them in water, then squeeze out as much as you possibly can. To start, let's get our painting planned out. Grab your pencil and with a very light touch, sketch in where you want your castle to sit in the picture. You can even take this opportunity to practice your castle shapes that you'll be painting later. Castles are made primarily of tall rectangles, topped by triangles in different sizes. You could put in a steeple at the very top, some flags if you want, a ridged parapet, whatever you like. Now that we have a rough idea of what we want our end result to look like, we can start painting. Grab your first sponge and dip it in the yellow. We're going to sponge this yellow just above the lines where we drew our castle. This might take a couple of layers to cover your pencil lines. Even if they do show through a bit, we'll be painting over them in a little while. The yellow doesn't have to reach up to the very top, since it will be full of other colors later. Now we'll take a tiny bit of white on our yellow sponge and dab it onto an empty spot of the plate to spread it across the sponge. Go back closer to the edge of the castle to add a glowing effect. Now, take a clean sponge into the pink and dab it into an empty spot of the plate to spread it across the sponge. This helps remove the excess paint. Dab in some big fluffy pink clouds throughout your yellow sky around your castle, and carry the pink up through the top of the frame. Now we'll take another sponge into the purple, picking up just a tiny bit. Dab it on the plate to spread it, and go just to the very top of the pink clouds and over the top of the frame. While it's still wet, take in some blue and put some here and there into the clouds, alternating between your blue and purple and pink until you have some nice, fluffy sunset clouds. Once your sky is completely dry, take your paintbrush and dip it into a little bit of purple. Mix that into a bit of pink to make a very light purple color. We're going to create a gradient in your castle. This means that we're going to be going from a light color to a dark color, starting with light purple and slowly blending darker and darker as we go down. This will make the castle look like it's glowing in the sunset. Begin painting over your castle sketch, starting at the top. Keep your paintbrush well loaded with paint. If the tip starts to dry out and spread, it will create a very sloppy, scratchy looking castle. We'll be using this scratchy look later on, but for now, just swipe it through your paint puddle a couple of times to reform the tip and keep going. For painting detailed things like the castle or the horse later on, you want to hold your paintbrush close to the tip for the most control. You also want to make sure that you're stroking the brush across the page and not scrubbing it across the surface. Grab a bit more purple on your brush and go directly underneath where you started with a light purple and fill in the castle, blending between the two as you go to create the gradient effect. The easiest way to do this is to paint the second color just under the first. Then, with whatever is left on the brush, pull through the first color and brush it into the second. Extend the bottom of the castle into the hill that it is set on. Now we're going to take our brush and blend together some black, blue, and purple. We're going to use this to create dark gradients to make our mountains pop out on the landscape. Again, start with this first dark color and go all along the edge of the object, whether it's your mountains, trees, or horse, and bring that dark color a little ways down. Then go back with a bit of purple underneath it, then back again to blend between the two. You'll notice here how since we're filling in larger areas, I've pulled my hand up higher on the brush, making it easier to sweep across the page. Keep your brush well loaded with paint as you go. We'll use the same gradient effect to line the hill that the castle is sitting on. Then we'll carry the purple down through the bottom of the frame to leave an area blank where we will be putting our knight on horseback. If you want to keep it simple, you could also just place another mountain here to frame our landscape. Take your dark color and swipe a winding path down from the castle into the hills. The path should be narrower at the top near the castle, that would be far away, and wider at the bottom towards the hills, which would be nearer to the viewer. For our tree, we want to just dab the tip of the brush, dotting it across the area to give the illusion of leaves. Blend it into the lighter purple just like you did before. When it dries, we can go back over it with our darker color to add tree trunks and more plants. Now we can begin to add our details. We'll add just a little bit more black into our dark color to make our knight on horseback really stand out from the landscape. To make the horse's head, make 2 small, equally sized circles with a space between them where you could almost just place a third circle. This will be the horse's eyebrow and nose. Now, back underneath the eyebrow and kind of crossing over the bottom half of it, make a bigger circle. This is the horse's cheek. Connect the nose circle to the eyebrow and to the cheek. Add 2 small triangles behind the eyebrow for ears. Fill it all in and carry down from the ears and the cheek to make the neck. You can add a curved line from just behind the nose down to the neck for a set of reins. For our knight, his body is just a triangle seated on a horse's back. His head is an oval. You can add a peak or details to his helmet if you like. On his back, we can add a rectangle with lines sticking out of it to be a quiver full of arrows. Before this all dries out, add in a bit of purple and continue the gradient down the page. To finish our tree, we'll take our dark color and swipe up from where the base of the trunk should be. We'll finish the branches off by blotting more leaves and more texture in with that darker color. As a finishing touch, with just a couple flicks of your brush, you can add birds off in the distance. Thanks for joining in and painting with us today. Keep an eye out on our website and social media platforms for more fun summer reading events for all ages.